Hey everybody, this is Chris Bucci, and we are headed to Stern Pinball in Chicago, Illinois, to have a one-on-one conversation with John Trudeau, the designer of the Ghostbusters pinball machine. And after, he's going to answer a few questions on the phone. This is going to be a lot of fun, so stick around. One more.
I ain't afraid of no ghost, but you should be.
In 1,000 feet, you will arrive at your destination.
See the sign there?
My name is John Trudeau. I work for Stern Pinball as a senior game designer. And I sometimes wonder if that's in relation to my age or my position as a senior designer. I don't know. But I was the lead designer on the Ghostbusters game. And I do the physical layout and work with the programmers and the mechanical guys and even the artists and get the whole package put together.
I picked up a premium model. Things might skew a little bit more toward premium and LE in this interview.
That's
but
fine.
Premium's
my favorite.
Oh, see, there you go. See, that's what we
Skew
get along
away.
so well, so easily and quickly. Why did you choose Ghostbusters? And has this been something you've wanted to do, like on your bucket list, like for a while in pinball?
Yes, it's been on the bucket list. I love the movie like you do. It's one of those classic pieces that it can't be remade. It's like, to me, it's like Casablanca with comedies almost. It's a one-of-kind, and that's it. I was very happy to come in here and restart my career in pinball. And they asked me in the beginning, you know, if you got a short list of themes that you would like to do. And of course, I had a short list. And Ghostbusters was on that list. So when we started talking about it, after a model or so in, and then I said, don't get me excited if you're not going to do it. Right. So they pursued it, and they said, yeah, we're going to get you the license. I said, you got it. And the question also was, you know, there's a new movie coming out. Would you want to, you know, do that or not? I said, no, I wanted this to be the classic piece.
Did Stern come to you about it this recently and say, hey, at one point you had mentioned this might be of interest?
Kind of. I think it was Jody Dankberg is in charge of getting the licenses and pursuing what we would like to do. And you know, after, of course, approval from the higher-ups, and everybody's on board, and let's go after it and see how the studios feel about it. Because a lot of times we'll just get a flat refusal, or we'll run into a lot of walls going through if they'd be interested in doing it, but they want to do it their way. And they don't realize that we're making pinballs, they're making movies. You know, we can't let you direct the making of the pinball. Now you can direct us as far as what features you'd like us to use and stuff, but as far as the layout and the play of the game, that's up to us.
You have a reputation of doing something original with every design instead of having like a trademark. I know you've talked about that many times.
That is my trademark.
That's your trademark. Your trademark is not having a trademark.
Right. I try to approach each theme as a unique project. And Ghostbusters is, you know, we have ghosts. We have magic going on. It is like the perfect excuse to bring magnets in and holograms and anything that's kind of creepy.
Right.
And this is the perfect thing to do it. Now, in my past, I had these magnetic slingshots that I had thought about doing at Williams, but that game never came to fruition.
Okay.
And so that was always in the back of my mind. I also thought about putting the ball underneath the playfield and just bringing it right back up like a roller coaster, which was another idea I had in the past. The Ecto goggles just came to mind. I just said, that's perfect, you know, do a little one of those. Originally there were two on the game, and I had them situated over the eject holes, but the bottom one wouldn't fit under the glass with the entire unit there. So I said, well, I can move this one, or I can just do one in a more strategic spot, and also reduce the cost by half on the unit. So that's where it ended up.
Is that almost like a Disney haunted house
Yes.
kind of concept,
Yeah.
the PIN 2000?
Yes, the old gun games in the 50s and 60s used to have the mirror, the two-way mirror.
And I heard there's a little friend in there that
Oh, my
shows up.
friend?
Your little...
Yes, my little kitty passed away about a year ago, and he was my buddy for 13 years. And I said to myself, well, let's put a little homage to Idiota. Idiota. That's Spanish for idiot, in case you didn't know. It's a perfect name for him, and he always was an idiot his entire life. And I asked him if we could put it in, and everybody said, sure, come on. Oh, yeah. So occasionally you'll see a little black cat in the ecto goggles.
I think that was the first thing I saw, to
Oh,
be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah, it doesn't come up too often. It's made that way. I said, just every once in a while, throw that black cat in there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he just sits there and his little tail wags. I think when you shoot him, he just walks away or something.
Yeah, he just flies off.
Yep.
The Pro Premium LE tier system. Do you design the LE Premium first and then Pro, or is it the other way around, and why?
No, you're right the first time. It's much easier to design something with all the bells and whistles, and to remove a bell and a whistle discreetly and possibly replace it with something else, than to try and jam a bell or whistle into something that's complete. So it works that way, much easier.
Yeah, but the Pro, I mean, is a blast to shoot. So it's nice.
I was fortunate enough that none of the shots changed from the LE down to the Pro. They're all the same. There's a ramp on the right side. There's instead of going, into a ball popper, it just goes into a little eject hole. But it's still the same shot, and the ramp goes around, and the ramp goes one way. It's actually a two-directional ramp on this thing. So yeah, and all the shots are the same. So it was a nice compromise. People that are going to be very happy playing the Pro.
You showed me the arcade. Mm-hmm. I heard a rumor that part of the job is you must play a certain amount every day.
That's
is
correct.
That everybody?
Everybody.
Everybody. Is that where it takes place, in the arcade?
Yes, right. There's usually a game or two that are being tested. So those that are like the primary focus at the time. And right now I know we're testing out the Ghostbusters, the newer program that we have in it.
That sounds like a lot of fun, to be honest.
Everybody plays. Gary plays, I play, Steve plays, John plays. It's like all the people in the factory play.
They all play?
Yep.
Now, do you give each other input too if you see something?
Yeah, no.
Is there
There's
like,
there's a pad and a pencil right there. If there's something wrong or you see something that's interesting, write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
And then do you, as the designer, look at that?
If there's something in there that's a problem physically, then I get involved. But usually it's priority in the program someplace, a little bug here or there.
Is there anything in Ghostbusters that somebody came up to you and said, dude, this is not, no.
Yeah, the first version of Ghostbusters, for sure. Yeah, and that one didn't make it out.
So we don't talk about that one.
No, it was okay. It was the center shot area where there's a big target and a small captive ball shot. That used to be a bank of targets that were formed on an arc. Some of the early leaked pictures, there were whitewood cuts from the cabinet company, showed an arc there that would have been filled with targets. Well, we built it that way the first time, and we found out that hitting those targets is fine, but when it bounces into the opposite side, where it ricochets, it clunked. Yeah, so clunk, shoot, clunk. I go, that's not good. So that got redesigned into what it is now.
Obviously, Slimer is the main bash toy.
Yes. Yes.
Why Slimer? And I think I know why.
Oh,
but
yeah.
why Slimer? And can you explain how he works on both versions?
Yeah, he's the most popular piece out of the movie for sure. And originally I wanted him to come around from behind the firehouse, but he was going to make a big arc, but unfortunately it's made it a lot easier doing the city and all the backdrops and things to just hide him in the city for the LE and the premium. In order to make the mechanism even less complex, we got an up and down version where he doesn't really hide, he just gets out of the way and the lights go off.
And that's the Pro, right?
That's
That
the
goes up
Pro,
and down, yeah.
right. But we still have a guy there, and he can go up and down and jump out of your way sometimes.
And he still looks like he's floating. So
Yeah,
it's really
right.
neat. I played
And
Pro
when the
quite a
lights
bit.
go out, he kind of just disappears and becomes part of the background art.
The Stay Puft in the corner. Was that ever thought about as a bash toy at one time, or did you always
No.
want Slimer? Like,
Well, it was thought about is that I wanted him to lumber. Okay, so I was putting him on a coil,
Right.
and have him spring loaded one side, and the coil would pull him over,
so he'd kind of do like
he'd
this.
lumber, right?
Yeah.
And he does change colors, and that was going to be when he got angrier. He got redder.
Yeah, he looks. I love the way he's just looming behind the buildings.
Right.
Again, another Ghostbusters.
So in other words,
staple.
to get free animation in there, we had to develop a kind of a spring mount for him. So that's the reason when you shake the game, he moves.
Now, Ghostbusters 2 is in the game a little bit here and there, and then the most obvious are the Scoleri brothers targets.
The request to use elements from the second movie came from the studio. And they said they love what we've done, but could you put something more from the second movie in? I said, sure. And I talked about the Scoleri brothers.
2 in the box, ready to go. We be fast and they be slow.
We also have the River of Slime on the bottom right side in the eject hole.
Right.
So you shoot in there and you get the pink river slime and the train running over
trains
Winston.
or whatever. Yeah. Which is a funny scene. I do like that scene.
Yeah. So and it's exactly why I picked those two pieces. And there's a reason why I didn't pick anything else from that movie, because I was a little disappointed in the movie itself. The way the theme of the movie went, it was very dark. And
The Vigo character.
I didn't like him at all,
Yeah.
and it was because capturing a baby is just not up my alley.
You didn't want to have any baby kidnapping
No,
in your game?
no.
Like, that's one of the modes?
Right?
That might not play
that
well.
didn't work well.
The right ramp on the LE Premium, it literally like a scoop. It goes,
Yeah, it's a little helix.
you don't hit it just right. It just goes, nope, not doing it.
Exactly.
It's great because when you dial it in, I hit it like 6 times in a row one time. And it was so satisfying.
It can go if you got it right in there.
The Pro works differently, right?
Well, when we decided we needed to pull money out for the Pro, George Gomez came up with an idea. He says, well, what if you go backwards on the ramp? And we all looked at it, and I thought about it for a while. I says, you know what? I think he got the idea.
Sure.
So the entrance to that ramp is the same as the little helical ramp. Right in the same spot, same width, and you shoot that, and it'll follow the lower ramp up to the left. There's a one-way gate at the top of and it won't let it go all the way through. And however many switches you hit, that's your score.
The higher up you get, the more you run those rollovers.
Correct.
over. Yeah, it's really cool.
Everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know this.
Yeah, the magnet slings were something that I had the idea for at Williams, and we actually built a single whitewood with just slingshots on it, just to see how we could play with it. And we just put posts down and the rubber rings on, and I put the magnets underneath. I originally had slots counterboard under the playfield because I didn't know where they were going to go. So I put them at the maximum distance from the rubber line, and they worked. So we left them there. We had a slight lofting problem originally. So when the ball would close the switch on the rubber, the ball actually jumped. And it was working, but it's jumping. So we're going to put a big hole over on this artwork on the other side. And we decided to raise the rubber line. And we had another post in stock that had a double rubber ring on it. And we brought that in, put single rubbers on the lower location and the rubber around the slingshot on the higher location. And it worked perfectly. It just pushes the ball along.
Do you remember, are you allowed to say what game that was that you tried at Williams at one time? Was it?
No, it wasn't never produced.
It never produced.
It was never produced.
Thought maybe it was a Judge Dredd thing or something.
No. No, see, I think if I had pursued it, I would have found the same.
Sure, you would have figured
the solution, right?
Yeah.
So it was cool, and this is a natural for it because who's controlling it? As long as they're in the normal mode, they act just like slingshots, which is perfect as far as I was concerned. But then when the ghosts get a hold of them, they grab it and they play back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, no, I'm going to hold the ball. No, we're going to throw it back. And then they throw it someplace else down the playfield.
Every once in a while, sometimes it goes somewhere, you just start laughing.
Yeah,
I found myself just laughing.
Exactly. I found myself giggling almost at it. And it's like, oh, man, did you see that?
So, look at that. See it? Did you see that? The ball hit. We talked about the ramp. Obviously, you said you wanted to use that before, too, right?
Well, I had an idea for a...
dipped underneath.
Yeah, it was a... amusement park thing.
That was it.
It was a roller coaster. It was an automatic thing.
Yeah.
And it would go underneath and come up and make the big circle and go underneath again. And then I was going to use the getaway trick with the magnets underneath.
Oh, sure.
And power the ball back up so it could go in a circle and like you're riding a roller coaster.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. Yes. So all I had to do was get to the top. And once it reached, like a roller coaster, once it reached past the point of no return, it would feed itself with inertia. There's sections of pipe, literally, that we welded into the wire ramp in order to direct the ball like a funnel. So I wanted to make sure we had a little problem with the ball not riding the two bottom rails continuously. If I put the ball there and let it go, it would go through every time.
Sure.
But if we shot the ball, sometimes the ball would not ride on those two rails. It would ride on the side rail, and it would come down into the lower level, and it'd be on the side, and the ball would rattle.
Oh.
So we put a couple of pipe sections on there, and it helped it. I got it down to about 90%, and then I said, let's do one more pipe section on the way down, just to make sure it's right in the middle. And that did it.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's close to the 100% you're gonna get, I think.
Is there anything that you wanted to get on the game, but you weren't able to, or it just didn't work, or and you're kind of going, boy, I wish I could have got that in there.
Not really. No, it really came through real clean.
Yeah.
And I got all kinds of surprises on it.
I think you and I talked about one time when I asked you, what would be a neat topper is if they did the Ecto 1, and then you wrote back, you might be happy. But I think you had mentioned there were proton streams originally because there's a cutout.
There was a project in development on it, and that I guess maybe should have qualified as something that didn't make it on the machine. They were spiraled, clear acrylic rods wrapped around a central steel rod, and in a helix, and we have individually addressable LEDs, high intensity, that would light these rods up in red. And as they switched, it appeared that the beam was spiraling, and they were on motors, and they crossed over, and you could control the left, and you could control the right, and they weren't cheap.
Well, I think you had mentioned there was a possibility of an add-on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the jury's still out on it because it's done.
Sure.
Yeah. The bill of materials there, so it's just a decision whether we're going to make it or not. And they would be probably have to come out with a code update in order to run them. They would be for any machine because even the Pro has those little holes in it, and that's what they were there for.
Well, is there anything else feature-wise you can think of that I missed?
No, see, I forgot about that one until you reminded me. There was a PKE meter at one time on the back panel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was also one of the subjects that they got lost. And it was just a little coil, and the little arms went up,
like it was reading.
Yeah, like it was reading
that'd
the
be
ghost.
cool.
It was just a novelty
Those
thing.
are
It
fun,
was made out of flat plastic stuff,
okay.
and it just went up there, and there were lights behind it, and then it went down.
That's
It was
pretty
just
cool.
it was a show thing. It
Sure.
really did nothing for the gameplay. Those are the first things that go.
Right,
See,
right.
when you got to bring it down
Sure.
to meet a budget.
I love the art package in the game. I
Yeah, me
think
too.
there is something special about original work being created for the game that is not used on anything else. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just wondering if you could talk about Jeremy Zombie Yeti,
Mm-hmm.
and how you found him, or did you find him, or how the heck did he get involved?
Greg Ferris, who was our art director here,
Mm-hmm.
was introduced to him at some point. I'm not sure. I know he likes to be referred to as Zombie Yeti. I know
Zombie
Mr. Yeti worked with another designer, and that didn't work out well for him. Or the other designer, and he was an independent, but his style was leaked out, and Greg really liked it, so they became acquainted and became friends. And when the Ghostbusters project came up, and the idea to use original line artwork instead of photography was put forward, and which everybody wanted to do on the team.
Sure.
And Greg says, "I think I know the guy." So he called Jeremy, and Jeremy came in, and he says he was very enthusiastic. "Yeah, I'd be glad to do something like that."
Oh, that's nice.
And he gave us some samples, and I approved it. Dwight approved it. It's like, this is perfect. And so we ran with it, and he came in and did it.
And he did everything, right?
Yep.
Playfield,
Yep.
cabinet, all models,
Right.
and even the art blades. And then Dwight, you said, who added the mass hysteria flippers.
Yeah, I loved it. I said, "What is this?" He just did it, and I got it playing, and I'm going, "What happened?" It really becomes a natural thing. It devolves on the right flipper. You flip your right hand. It just happens to be on the left button, but it works out, so you can actually control it.
Has he worked with you before? I can't remember.
Not with me.
No, okay.
No, that was our first effort
First
together.
time.
Yeah, no, he worked at Williams too.
Yeah,
He worked with Barry Osler, and I think he worked with Steve.
right?
But he never got to work with me.
Oh, okay. Do you seek out the software people, or do they just do they
You
assign
mean-
them like for each project?
Oh, for here?
Yeah.
We know who we work well with.
Okay.
Okay, and if it's like 2 or 3 different guys, and any one of them is fine with me.
Is there anybody else on the team that you can think of that contributed something that you can mention?
Well, the lead mechanical guy was Elliot Eisman, and he made sure most of the mechanisms worked. The one mechanism he didn't do was Slimer, which was done by Mike Redoble, and basically that's it. And it was all overseen by John Raffanel, who's our head honcho in the mechanical end of it.
Takes a team, huh?
Yeah, it takes a team. It certainly does. All the sound was done by Jerry Thompson.
We really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment.
I blame myself.
So do I.
He rode herd over all the guys that he had working for him out of Seattle, and came in with some wonderful, wonderful music for it. And so I was really, really happy the way the thing fell together. When the first samples of music came in, I thought it was like, this had to be stolen from the movie.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it's just got the same exact feeling as the movie. And I said, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And we're really happy with it.
The Trudeau gap,
Yes.
as they like to say. Where did that start?
That was an effort on me to let you close the outside drains, because everybody would complain, the outside drain, there goes the ball, there goes the ball. So now if we could close those up and still keep the timing of the ball down to the 3-minute game, which is ideal, and if it's done by spreading the flippers a little bit, then what does it matter? Except that now you don't feel like you're getting sucked down the left side and sucked down the right side. And that was all it was.
In this case, you have the Slimer LE, you got the Stay Puft Premium, and then the Pro. Do you come up with those?
The
Terror Dogs Pro.
Yes.
Do you come up with the various models and how they look and what they're going to be? And
Not usually. If I have a suggestion, I'll say it.
Sure.
But I think I more or less leave that to the art department. Seriously. The art is also something that gets creative juices flowing, and I much rather them do what they want to do.
Sure.
And then sketch something to me. And if there's something really that I don't like, I'll say something. But for the most part, I just let them run.
Sure.
And it works.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
Seems to work. Yeah, it definitely
The audio
does.
guys. I said, perfect. Run with it. So, and they did it. And it came out nice.
Every single thing I work on, I'm proud of. But then you have these ones that are just a piece of magic, where everything just came together, and you're still proud of it, but you have this little extra pride. And I feel like Ghostbusters is that for you? You think?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Where all of the elements, the stars align, the planets align. Whatever it is, it happened on Creature from the Black Lagoon. That I had to really go to town on the executives to sell that. He said, "What do you want to do with a 1953 black and white movie? What are you, crazy?" That's exactly what they thought. But then I started to explain the 3D effects, the hologram, and where this is taking place, the driving, yada, yada, yada. And then they said, "Okay, let's go. Make it. Let me see it." So then they reserved their veto power until after they saw it.
Well, that's good, because it came together
out pretty
beautifully.
Good. Same with this. I think this was so easy to put together. Everything just aligned, like you say. When you get a good thing, I mean a really good thing, and the studio, if it's a movie, is cooperating fully, it's magic.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not succeed with that. I love the theme. Everybody involved loves the theme. And the studio says, "Yep, you're nailing it. Go with it." And they were really super. They never ever even mentioned the fact that if I wanted to do something with the new movie, they never, at least I never heard of it. So maybe it was intercepted, maybe it wasn't, maybe they just didn't, because they were happy. I would send them my 3D rendition of the playfield before it was being built, so they had something to look at and say, "Oh no, we can't do that."
Is there anything you can think of about the game that if somebody was listening to this interview, because they're like, "I want to find out about this game I'm about to buy," or thing?
Well, that's what I was going to tell them. Oh, buy it.
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect.
No, if I had my druthers, the Pro is a wonderful game to have, and if you're conscious about your budget, that's a nice place to get a really good game.
Yep.
And if you want to spend a little more money, you can go get a premium.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun, and it's worth the extra money.
Thank you, John, for
You're
your
welcome.
time. I really
Great.
appreciate it, and
Glad to
everybody's
do it.
going to love it.
Great to have you here, Chris. Okay.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, now that was the first part of this video. Now John is going to answer a few more questions on the cell phone in a post-conversation conversation.
I wonder who this could be.
Nobody interesting. You want me to hang up?
Well, as long as you called.
Well, hey, John, thanks for taking the time to answer a few more questions.
You're quite welcome, sir.
Do the actors have to sign off on their likenesses?
Yeah, most definitely they have to sign off. It's not only the studio signing off on the rights to the franchise. If you want to use any actor's likeness, we have to get each actor to approve their likeness. And to approve the fact that they're going to be involved. So, of course, without the actors signing off, the franchise would be kind of worthless.
Right.
We didn't do anything that was off color or offensive to anybody. It's just a great franchise to work with.
Super Jackpot!
Ernie Hudson did custom speech for the game, and I believe he also did Congo, another game you created, right?
Correct. He remembers the game. I think he still has one. So now we'll have 2 pinball machines.
Now, did you seek him out specifically for this one, and how was he to work with? You know, did he come into the studio, record the lines, and that kind of thing?
Yes, he did custom recordings in a studio, but technology nowadays is really nice. You just go to a studio in your local neighborhood, and everything comes, over the wire at a very high rate of speed, so there's no signal loss. So he's from Minneapolis area, so I believe he recorded his lines up there.
Extra ball!
Now, getting Ernie to do this was not a problem because he has the previous game Congo already under his belt, so he is a pinball fan, so he was really easy to get. And then, the other fellas, I don't know if we wanted to approach them or if they weren't interested that much in it. So Ernie was the easy guy to go get.
Did you choose what would appear in the Ecto goggles?
The only choice on the Ecto goggles was the Black Cat, but I just had the guys make ghosts, like when were releasing everything out of the traps, and just pick off of there and go with it. There was nothing specific.
Do you know if anything will be added, or is that pretty much golden now?
I saw something on Facebook today that had Vigo in that display. I don't know if it's real or not.
Oh.
I've never seen it before. Maybe somebody pushed it in. I'm sure the software is editable, or maybe somebody faked it in there, or maybe it came out in the new update, and I just didn't get the memo.
I mean, I'm sure fans of Ghostbusters too wouldn't mind seeing Vigo somewhere, if even just in a little blip.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Sure, you're right. I didn't want him to be any part of the gameplay itself, but as one of the bad spirits, sure. That's okay with me.
Do you also create the inserts and what is said on each insert, and what modes you'd like to see?
Well, originally we do the physical layout of the game, and we'll throw inserts by each shot. Dwight had the idea of using these as movie scenes and to make each of the shots like a ladder, so each of the shots has some different amount of levels to attain, and that's basically, it gets filled out that way. Sometimes we drop inserts, sometimes we add inserts. I let him run pretty much the way he wanted to on that, with my approval on everything, but we both had to agree on it, and I think it came out right. I didn't see anything that was missing, other than the fact that, you always run out of time when you're doing something you're really liking.
The pop bumper buildings, the library, etc., are all like models. Were those custom created for this game? And if so, do you know who created those?
Yes, they were custom created. We worked with a sculptor artist. His name is Dave Link, and he also did the sculptures on Metallica, the Sparky guy, and whatever else he needed on there. He's a good guy. He's a good, very talented artist, and we did the buildings on the pop bumpers, the library building, the State Buff guy, the ghost trap, and he did all those.
Now, how do you decide whether to do original sculpts versus buy something already created?
Well, I believe that was done a number of years ago when they went out and just bought the toys, because they were readily available and commercially available. So, didn't want to do the rework, so to speak. What they found out later is, now, in the case of Iron Man, they wanted to remake an Iron Man Vault Edition, but the toys are no longer available. So they had to go and recreate one. Now, if they had done the model in the first place, then they would have had the mold and everything all done, and that would have been made a lot easier. So they ended up having to go through and get it anyhow. I believe that's what the choice is nowadays. If we're going to make a model, let's make a model, and just hang on to the mold. A combination of the sculpts and just the flat pewtered plastics, with the drawings of the buildings on them. I had the State Puff guy overlooking the tops of the buildings. It brought the movie right into it.
With the release of Batman 66 and Aerosmith, we have the new LCD screen versus the dot matrix display. Is it true Ghostbusters was originally supposed to have this?
It probably is true. The LCD was a work in progress. There was a lot of support that had to go into the spiked system to run the LCD. Whatever game was coming up with it was the game that was going to come up with it. It could have been Game of Thrones. It could have been Ghostbusters. And it turned out to be the Batman game. So there was never any real thought to what scenes we're going to use, because we knew right away the decision was made early. Either it's going to get it or it's not going to get it. And at that point of development, it wasn't ready. So they said, no, let's just go with the dot matrix one more time. And it makes it easier because we get to develop everything we need to in that format. The screen, it brings a whole new can of worms into play. And we'll see what happens.
I guess Ghostbusters is historically significant for being the last of the dot matrix display games, at least by the big companies out there.
Well, I couldn't put my finger on it, but it's back there. Yeah.
I have your stand-up plastics for Judge Dredd and Creature, and now Ghostbusters. Do you create the promotional plastics yourself?
I pretty much create those myself. I had the big idea back when we did Creature from the Black Lagoon. And ever since then, I try to put them on the games when there was room on the plastic set. Some of them were smaller, some of them were big. I did one for Ghostbusters. It's you put it together. That's all.
Is it tough to design games for both novice and expert players?
Yeah, that is a problem. It's got to be enjoyable in that ideal 3-minute game. And if you're just whacking the ball around it, and you're either having a good time or you're not having a good time. So that's the mystery of the pinball machines. That pretty much, it's hard to do. Something I think the programmers work with much more than the game designer works with, because they make the game deeper for the good player, and they keep on making it more interesting. So the expert player understands and he knows how to manipulate the ball and the features on the game. Whereas the Joe Average, like me, believe it or not, that's all I am, will get a good game once in a while, but I can still have a nice, 3 or 4 minute game and enjoy myself. It's a combination of everything. It's a hard balance to get.
Have you heard anything about how the game is doing?
It's doing well. It's been off the line for the Batman and initial Aerosmith run, but we're still producing it. So there's a lot of people that still like the game. They're ordering them. We're selling a lot of pros. We're selling a lot of premiums. And, of course, all the LEs are all gone.
Right.
You might get one from your distributor, but it's just only because he's holding it.
You said that you had a short list or a bucket list of games. Are there any that you could share that you'd love to do?
Well, the only one I think that's really out there was the Beatles I wanted to get. And I still would love to do the Beatles. Yes, there are more. And some ideas would make themselves very nicely into a pinball machine, but the franchise, let's say, isn't interested, so we just kind of let it go away. And then there are other things that just keep knocking on the door that we're not interested in. The next game I'm working on is not one from my bucket list, but it's one I'm very happy to do.
And you told me what that was. What was it again?
Was it My Little Pony?
I think it was. Friendship is magic.
Hey, watch it, rookie.
Great talking to you.
Well, thanks again for your time, John. It's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
So, there you have it. Thank you, John, for taking the time to talk with me. And in fact, thanks everybody at Stern. I had a great visit. Everybody there was awesome. I hope you guys found something interesting in this video. It was a lot of fun. So until next time, keep on bustin' and keep on flipping. How are you today?
I am doing fine, Chris.
Good.
Your last name, Bucci?
Bucci.
Oh, that's what I thought. He's Italian. Bucci. Can you hear me now?
I'm seeing levels, yes. Still have time?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Got about 5 or 6
Go ahead.
Okay. The
Time's up.
is there? Well, thank you, John, for having.